Tonight, Barcelona's pre-season spectacle seemed routine, until a single embrace turned the story into a warning and a promise. Andre Stegen, freshly back in the captain's role after a tense few weeks, didn't settle for the scripted applause. He stepped into the spotlight before the game to tell supporters the dispute with the club had been settled and to demand attention on the season ahead. When the final whistle blew on a dominant 5-0 victory over Como in the Joan Gamper trophy, the celebration felt normal at first. Goals, chants, a confident display of depth. But Stegen made a different kind of statement. Instead of letting the spotlight fall only on the goal scorers, he sought out summer signing Joan Garcia, the 24-year-old newcomer who arrived with the expectation of challenging for the no-one shirt and wrapped him in a warm public hug. That moment, brief but unmistakable, did more than end a rumour-filled storyline. It rewired it. What had been positioned as a brewing internal rivalry suddenly read as a public pact that competition at Camp Nou will be tempered by respect, mentorship and unity. A veteran captain telling fans and teammates that the goal is shared success, even when the path to the starting 11 runs through two very different keepers. For context, this was not an isolated image grabbed out of thin air. It followed a week that saw Stegen and the club patch up a dispute over communications around his injury and his future. And it came at a moment when Barcelona have been active in the transfer market and keen to show that internal stability is intact. The Joan Gamper match itself delivered the sort of clinical, high-tempo football a manager like Hansi Flick wants. Early goals, loud fans and several players from the summer intake given a chance to show they belong. Joan Garcia played through the match and kept a clean sheet as Barca scored 5 and eased through the curtain raiser, while youngsters and new signings made their mark in attack. In that charged atmosphere, the embrace read like a deliberate pro-free signal, not a scripted photo op, but an instinctive act of leadership. It said to supporters that Stegen accepts the challenge, that he will protect and prepare the club's future custodians rather than push them out, and that the competition for the shirt will be fought on the pitch, not in headlines. Reactions were immediate and telling. The crowd's earlier, softer whistles were replaced by approving applause and social feeds filled with clips of the two keepers together, each bearing a different weight of expectation, but now bound by a visible sign of harmony. Club officials who only days earlier had been managing delicate registration and roster conversations will welcome the public easing of tension. A captain who embraces a potential successor is a captain who preserves dressing room cohesion. For Hansi Flick, the tactical benefit is obvious. Training and selection can proceed without the added combustible element of public acrimony, allowing merit to decide who starts. For Garcia, the hug is a rare gift. Immediate acceptance from a club legend and an on-field mentor that could accelerate his integration and calm the scrutiny that follows any high-profile transfer. For Stegen, it's a reaffirmation of leadership, an acknowledgement that longevity at an elite club is not just about clean sheets, but about stewarding the next generation. This is, of course, only the first chapter. The season ahead will test whether the embrace was symbolic theatre or the start of a genuinely collaborative dynamic between two keepers with overlapping ambitions. Fans should watch the training ground, the early league selections and the tone of post-match comments for evidence that the gesture has taken hold beyond the camp, new turf. What we do know right now is simple and powerful. A game that might have been remembered solely for goals has instead gifted Barcelona a narrative shift. The hug turned a potentially toxic storyline into an aspirational one, rivalry rewritten as teamwork. And in a club that thrives on collective identity, that may be as important as any pre-season result.